Good morning. For Tuesday morning, we read Matthew 27:32 to 44. As they went out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name. They compelled this man to carry Jesus' cross. When they came to a place called Golgotha, which means place of a skull, they offered him wine to drink mixed with gall, but when he tasted it, he would not drink it. And when they had crucified him, they divided his garments among them by casting lots. Then they sat down and kept watch over him there. And over his head they put the charge against him, which read, "This is Jesus, the King of the Jews." Then two robbers were crucified with him, one on the right and one on the left. And those who passed by derided him, wagging their heads and saying, "You who would destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days, save yourself. If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross." So also the chief priest with the scribes and the elders mocked him, saying, "He saved others, he cannot save himself. He is the King of Israel. Let him come down now from the cross, and we will believe in him. He trusts in God. Let God deliver him now if he desires him, for he said, 'I am the Son of God.'" And the robbers who were crucified with him also reviled him in the same way. So, Jesus is crucified. And this is Matthew's telling of it. The other versions are slightly different, as you can probably already tell. But Matthew is concerned to be sure that we see how much of this fulfills prophecy. And if you look at Psalm 118, you'll see all these things in there that Matthew pulls in. You know, and somewhere in the Old Testament it says something about he offered me wine mixed with myrrh and I wouldn't drink it. Well, that's what the Romans did. They had this gall stuff as a kind of a anesthetic. And they put that in the wine and give that to the person so that the person's kind of in a partly sedated stupor. It makes it easier to crucify them. Now, crucifixion is a peculiarly treacherous kind of death. The Romans knew what they were doing. They put you to death in a way that just hurt, so painful, made you suffer. They would nail your arms to this crossbeam. They didn't put it through the hands like we see in all the paintings, because that would just rip loose. They put it down here between the bones of the arm, where there's a nerve, so it really hurts. They'd nail your arm to the cross on either side, and then they'd nail your feet to a little thing that stuck out from the pole. So you had your choice as you're hanging there. Oh, it hurts so much. Your arms are being stretched and pulled. And so you put your weight on your feet, try to stand up a little bit, get a breath, and that just makes everything hurt. Your feet, they knew where the nerves were, and so all your weight is right on that nerve, and you can't do that. What happens is that you die because you can't breathe. You can't breathe out. You're hung up there in such a way that you can't expel any air. It's kind of like severe asthma attack, but it takes hours for you to die. Some people it took days. Now, some people were tied up there with ropes, and some were nailed up, but whatever they had. Tradition says Jesus was nailed, and the other robbers may have been tied up with rope. In this story, both robbers are there reviling him and mocking him along with the crowd. Matthew doesn't have the story of the one robber who is repentant and the other one who's not. And Matthew includes the detail that they cast lots for his garments. They didn't want to tear them up. They saw that this was one piece of cloth. It was a fairly nice piece of cloth, and so rather than tear it up, they would just throw dice for it, and whoever won could take it home. And so that fulfills a prophecy. So all these prophecies being fulfilled. And the sign said, "This is Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. And in a lot of medieval paintings, we see INRI, which would be Latin for Jesus Nazaros or something, Rex Eudorum, King of the Jews. And they would, abbreviate words like that. And medieval artists did a lot of that. Other sources tell us that the sign was posted in Latin, Greek, and Hebrew, so there was more to it than just those 4 letters. But Jesus is crucified for claiming that he's the King of the Jews, and no one is king but Caesar. That is made abundantly clear to anyone who wants to follow Jesus or worship Jesus. Yes, you can worship him all day long, but Caesar is the king, and don't you forget it. So, for us, as we ponder the crucifixion on this cold Tuesday, let's think about the suffering that Jesus undergoes and the way that he just can barely hang on. And let's not rush ahead to the resurrection. That's coming, but let's sit with the crucifixion and with his pain and suffering for a day or two. And that way, we get more in touch with that, and perhaps we get more in touch with our faith and the complete lack of suffering or even inconvenience that we're willing to put up with. So keep that in mind today and pray. Pray about that and pray for other people and pray for those who are cold. We'll see you tomorrow.